Shavua Tov and Chodesh Tov. Mishnah Yomi today is in chapter 3 of Eduyot, Mishnah 12. And amazing, we start with Shlosha Devarim, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Matir. This is the same Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah who is featured in the Pesach Haggadah, just coming up in 2 weeks, where he says, Harei ani keven shivim shana. I'm as if I'm 70 years old. The Gemara in Brachot, Daf 28, explains he wasn't actually 70 years old. He was 18, but his wife had given him gray hair, so he would look like a sage and be more respected in the yeshiva. And he has that famous drasha in the Pesach Haggadah. That's the same Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He was matir 3 things. Chachamim osim. The other sages said they were forbidden. Which was it? Parato, his cow, Yotze Bertsuasha ben Karnea, went out with a ribbon between her horns. Now, people aren't allowed to carry on Shabbos, but also your animals are not allowed to carry on Shabbos. So carrying a ribbon on the horns sounds like carrying. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said it was just a decoration. It wasn't actually carrying. And actually, this wasn't his cow. It was his neighbor's cow, but he did not protest what his neighbor did with the cow on Shabbos, and therefore it is credited to him. Now, before you start rebuking anyone's neighbors, God forbid, you should know that it's only a mitzvah to rebuke someone if they're going to listen. And in our generation, people have thin skin and they don't listen. And also, our sages say in our generation, probably people do not know how to properly give tochacha, to properly criticize without attacking the other person. It's something that requires a tremendous degree of sensitivity. So don't go around criticizing people, even if their cow is wearing a ribbon on Shabbos, please. The next one is Mikodrin at the Behema b'Yom Tov. You can scrape the animal with a metal comb on Yom Tov. Now, he's just trying to clean off the animal, but the issue is the combs they would use sometimes would cause bleeding by accident. He says since it's Davar She'eino Miskoven, he does not intend to make the animal bleed. He doesn't want that to happen. It would still be allowed. On Yom Tov, of course prohibited on Shabbos. V'shochin et hapilpulin b'rechaim shelahen, and you can grind peppercorns into pepper in their own grinders, the pepper grinder. And again, this is on Yom Tov, of course, not on Shabbat. And the sages would say, well, using the regular pepper grinder looks like a weekday activity, looks like you're preparing for the weekday. Use something small and just grind up a little bit of pepper that you're going to use, not use the regular grinder. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, he adds, Ein mekodrin behema b'yom tov mipnei shu osei chabura. You should not comb, it's really like a scraping of your animal on Yom Tov because it's probably going to make a wound and make the animal bleed, which is like a shtickle like shchita. Aval mekartzefin, but you can mekartzef, which is like combing it with a wooden comb that has blunt teeth, not metal teeth. The sages say, Ein mekodrin af lo mekartzefin. You can't use a metal comb or even a wooden comb. If you start using a wooden comb, people are going to use their metal comb also, and you'll have a problem. Mazel Tov, and on to chapter 4, starting a new Chodesh and a new Perek in Eduyot. This is a very famous chapter. Elu Dvarim Mikule Beit Shammai. These are places where Beit Shammai was lenient. Umechumrei Beit Hillel, and Beit Hillel, who typically is more lenient, was actually more strict. The first one should sound familiar. Beitza Shenolda B'Yom Tov, an egg that was laid on a holiday. This is the very first Mishnah in Masechet Beitza. That's why I got the name. Beit Shammai omrim te'achel. Beit Shammai says you can eat that egg. Beit Hillel omrim lo te'achel. Beit Hillel says you cannot eat that egg. As we explained back in Beitza, the issue Beit Hillel has is sometimes Shabbat was the day before Yom Tov. And when that happens, the egg was actually finished in the chicken the day before it was laid. They usually lay the eggs in the morning. It was actually, the egg was done, becoming an egg the day before. So this would be hachana, would be preparing on Shabbos for Yom Tov if you eat the egg that was finished on Shabbos on Yom Tov. Now that doesn't always happen, but Beit Hillel says we should make a gezerah, a protective edict, because sometimes it happens if we let people eat eggs that were just laid on Yom Tov most of the time, then when Yom Tov happens to fall after Shabbat, they will not realize it is a halachic problem. And next, Beit Shammai Omrim, Se'or B'Kazayit. Leavening agents on Pesach are forbidden if they are a kazayit, an olive's size. V'chametz, but bread itself, leavened items themselves, B'Kotevet, a date size, which is a bit larger than an olive size, so he's more lenient. Beit Hillel Omrim, Zeh v'Zeh B'Kazayit. They say both leavening agents and leavened products themselves are a kazayit shear. That's the minimum requirement for liability. Now, first of all, what they're talking about is not the prohibition on eating chametz on Pesach. That everyone agrees eating is a kazayit. What they're talking about is another prohibition, bol yira'eh, bol yimatzeh. Chametz cannot be seen in your possession. It cannot be found in your possession. So Beit Shammai is actually makel, saying if there happened to be some leavened objects that you did not clean and scrape off the back of the fridge and whatever it is for the Pesach cleaning, even if it was less than a kotevet, they would not be liable for the prohibition of having leftover chametz in your possession. Obviously, it would become forbidden and it could not be used. It would be asur b'hana, but they wouldn't be liable. They wouldn't be over that prohibition. Or Beis Hillel is machmir. Even a kazayas left in a Jew's property during Pesach would be a problem. Now, second of all, the amazing thing is here it is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and we're talking about cleaning for Pesach, which hopefully, Mirz Hashem, we're starting today, right? I mean, Baruch Hashem, our wives started a long time ago, but the guys, we're starting today. As Rabbi Silber likes to say, when our daily learning schedule aligns with what's going on in our lives, it's like a kiss from Ribbono Shalom. It's like God is telling us, your learning is so important and vital. And we get these reminders sometimes when it lines up like this, that Rabbi Silber loves to emphasize in the Daf Yomi as well, that it's just a beautiful chizuk to what we're doing, that whatever we're learning, it has relevance, and it's a beautiful thing when that lines up. So Baruch Hashem, it's time to start getting rid of the chametz. Yashar kochachem, Shavua Tov.